Welcome back to Bella's Quiet Place, the channel where calm storytelling meets the loudest karma on the internet. Today's tale begins in Willow Ridge, a peaceful community that had no idea it was about to witness the meltdown of the decade. The moving truck hadn't even stopped rattling when Maya Grant stepped out, steady hands holding a box marked kitchen. Her calm presence contrasted sharply with the storm marching toward her. Greg Turner, the neighborhood's unofficial watchdog and full-time professional nuisance. He stomped across the pavement like the HOA issued him the ground. His sandals slapped the concrete with the confidence of a man who'd never been challenged. His face carried a permanent frown, like joy owed him money. Without a greeting, without a breath, he began barking demands. "This is a private community. People don't just sneak in," he snapped, waving his arms as if conducting an orchestra of nonsense. "Show me proof you belong here." Maya remained still, her expression unreadable, but her silence irritated him more. Greg mistook calm for weakness, his favorite mistake. Soon he escalated, pacing around her driveway like a guard dog on bad Wi-Fi, muttering about keeping the neighborhood safe. He jabbed at her with accusations dripping with entitlement, convinced he was the sheriff of everything he saw. Maya's eyes narrowed slightly, the only sign that she registered his ignorance. She gave him just enough rope to swing with. His rant grew louder, more chaotic, more desperate, until he made his fatal decision. He reached for his phone. Greg dialed 911 with the enthusiasm of a man auditioning for Most Delusional Citizen of the Year. He paced in circles, chest puffed out, narrating lies with theatrical flair. Suspicious individual, acting hostile, refusing basic verification. He projected each word loudly enough for the entire block to hear, hoping neighbors would peek through blinds and validate his fantasy of authority. Maya leaned against her car, arms folded, watching him unravel. She didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't give him a single drop of satisfaction. Her calmness taunted him more than shouting ever could. Two sheriff cruisers rolled in minutes later, lights flashing gently, not even in a hurry. Greg straightened like a malfunctioning robot, beaming triumphantly. "Officers, over here! I've apprehended." But the first deputy didn't even look at him. Instead, he walked straight to Maya, adjusted his uniform, and addressed her with crisp respect. "Sheriff Grant, welcome to Willow Ridge." Greg froze mid-smirk. His face collapsed into pure confusion. His phone slipped from his hand like his dignity had buttered it. The deputy continued, "We heard you were moving today. Anything you need, just call." The neighborhood fell silent except for Greg's wheezing disbelief. Maya finally stood upright, glanced at him slowly, and said nothing. Silence spoke louder than any lecture. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this story on Bella's Quiet Place, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Your support keeps these stories coming. Greg's confidence didn't just crumble, it detonated. His jaw hung open so wide a mosquito could have flown straight in and rented the place. "Sheriff?" he croaked, sounding like a lawnmower trying to speak English. His eyes ping-ponged between Maya and the deputies, searching for an explanation that didn't exist in this universe. Maya stepped forward with a steady grace, her shadow stretching across the driveway like judgment itself. Greg stumbled backward, nearly tripping over his own sandal. "I didn't know. I mean, his excuses tangled together like cheap Christmas lights, useless and embarrassing. The deputy beside her crossed his arms, unimpressed. "Ma'am, do you want to file a complaint? We've had multiple reports involving him." That word, multiple, nearly folded Greg in half. He started shaking his head so fast he looked like he was trying to erase himself from existence. "No, no, no, please. Sheriff Grant, I swear, I was just trying to protect the neighborhood. I was misinformed." Maya raised one eyebrow. "About what? My house, my presence, or my skin?" Greg's knees buckled. A squeak left his throat, pitiful and strangled. He reached out, grabbing Maya's sleeve before realizing what he'd done. The second his fingers touched her uniform, both deputies straightened like triggers being pulled. He snatched his hand back as if the fabric burned him. Maya didn't shout. She didn't curse. She simply let the weight of the truth crush him, one silent second at a time until his facade dissolved completely. Greg stood there trembling, his pride leaking out faster than his words. The man who had marched across the pavement like a budget dictator now looked like he was melting under the sun. Maya stepped closer, her voice steady enough to silence the wind. "You weren't protecting anything," she said. You were policing the idea of who belongs. Each word landed with precision, slicing through the last fragments of his denial. Greg's chin quivered. His sandals seemed glued to the earth, trapping him inside the scene he wished he could escape. Neighbors had begun drifting outside, pretending to water plants or check mail, all witnessing the downfall he created with his own hands. The deputy cleared his throat. Sheriff, the complaint paperwork is ready if you want to proceed. Greg whimpered, an actual whimper, and fell into a rambling apology. Please, don't file anything. I'll lose my HOA role. My wife will. My whole reputation. Maya cut him off with a look so calm it felt like the final blow. You were willing to ruin my dignity for your comfort. Accountability isn't cruelty, Greg. It's overdue. He collapsed into silence, shoulders caving inward. By evening, every deputy in the district knew what happened. His HOA badge was removed, a restraining order issued, the official apology drafted under supervision. And Maya, she walked into her new home with her dignity untouched, her authority unquestioned, her composure the sharpest justice of all. This is Bella's Quiet Place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. And finally, do you think Greg got what he deserved? Comment below.